In the second of this week's shows, we'll be taking a look at whether Man City can improve on their terrible Champions League form as they face the holders, Bayern Munich. Our special guest Andrew Cole will be picking out his star players, and we'll be predicting who'll be one step closer to Lisbon come the end of the day. Welcome to the Champions Club. Hi, I'm Nat Coombs, and joining me today are Champions League winner Andrew Cole and international football writer Peter Staunton. We're going to be talking about what we think is today's biggest game, Manchester City against Bayern Munich. This is Man City's third season in the Champions League, and they are perennial underachievers so far. Despite spending all that cash, they've only won 4 games, one of those just a few weeks ago against Pilsen. Joining us now is goal correspondent Greg Stobart from the Etihad. Greg, huge game for City, so much to prove.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they've got a far easier group this season than they did last year when they were in the so-called group of champions. They started well enough against Victoria Pilsen, but the next 2 games are the big ones for City. Their rivals in this group are going to be Bayern Munich and CSKA Moscow. If they want to finish top of the group, they're going to have to win tonight. It's going to be very interesting. But with the new manager, Manuel Pellegrini, he knows how to do it much better than Roberto Mancini ever did. So I fancy their chances of at least qualifying for the knockout stages.
And these two teams have a bit of history, don't they?
Yeah, they have a bit of history, but both squads have changed a fair bit in the last couple of years. They were in the same group 2 years ago. On that occasion, City were very disappointing in Munich where they lost. They won here, but it was too little too late. They finished behind Napoli and Bayern Munich in the group, and they crashed out at the first hurdle.
Greg, when all's said and done, how pivotal is this game for City?
I think for City, after the last couple of years, it's mental as much as anything. They need a big scout, they need to win a big game. They only got 1 point last year, and that was not good enough, and that cost Roberto Mancini his job. To beat the European champions at home in just their second game, that'd be a huge mental boost for them and really set them on the right path.
Great, thanks Greg. Andrew, I guess mental is the operative word there, because we all know about the array of talent that City have had on offer over the last few years, but they haven't been able to put it together up here, have they?
Yeah, I think when you go into the Champions League, spending a lot of money on this competition, that doesn't mean you're going to win it. That doesn't mean you're going to get out of your group, because it's a very, very tough competition. And when you have a team like Bayern, who have won this competition numerous times and have the array of talent they have, you know, you can see why they've got to the European Cup final the past couple of years.
Pete, do you think this particular Man City squad is better equipped than its predecessors to do well in this competition?
They've made some good signings over the summer. Jesus Navas and Fernandinho in particular will give them that extra boost in the Champions League. But I think the alterations that they've made in the dugout will be the most important. Roberto Mancini, throughout his time at Inter and at Man City, just wasn't the man to carry a team far in the Champions League. And I think Manuel Pellegrini is infinitely more qualified for that task. And in order to extract that maximum worth from a Man City team in Europe, I think Pellegrini is the right man to take them forward.
We'll know about Guardiola's creds. What do you make of his time at Bayern so far? Admittedly, it is a reasonably small sample size.
So far, I think he's done a tremendous job. I think for the players to buy into what he wants, you know, he's kind of like moved on from Barcelona on to Bayern now, playing the same kind of way, you know, not looking to change it, just win football matches, and doing that really well at the moment.
Okay, time to put you both on the spot. Prediction time, Andrew, who are you going for?
2-1 Bayern.
2-1 Bayern. You said that with so much conviction. Pete, how about you?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. When it comes down to it, Bayern will beat them at home, but they don't have to win this one.
Okay, well, the boys have had theirs say. You can have yours as well by using the hashtag Champions Club. I'm sensing, Pete, that Bayern fans aren't going to be particularly happy with your call.
Well, I just think that Pep Guardiola, throughout his time at Barcelona, sometimes they didn't get those results away from home that were very spectacular. It could be the same thing for Bayern Munich. Win at home, draw away, you'll go through. Okay,
Bayern fans, go easy on Pete. He might redeem himself as the guys pick today's star players. So each match day, we ask our guests to pick out a player who they think are going to be the standout performers in today's games. Pete, we'll start with you. Who have you gone for and why?
I'm going for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the Paris Saint-Germain striker. He's been playing sort of second fiddle to Cavani since Cavani arrived over the summer, certainly in a goal-scoring point of view. He's been having snipes with Pep Guardiola. He's been, you know, talking about not being at 100% in the press as well, and he just seems a little bit unhappy with his football at the minute. And the only thing to get him back on track, I think, is a goal-scoring performance at home against Benfica.
Ibra with his nose out of joint? I won't believe it. Who have you got for Andrew?
I've gone for Wayne Rooney. I think his form for Manchester United so far has been superb. We all know about his problems at the end of last season, during the summer.
You surprised about how he's reacted this season?
No, I'm not. I think he always seems to play better when he's so-called backs against the wall and people are questioning him. And I just think you're looking at his performances now as if he's carrying Manchester United by himself. Robin van Persie's been injured recently. And like Rooney stepped up to the mark as if to say, well, yeah, I'm the man again.
Okay, thanks. Do you agree with the guys? Let us know. Hashtag Champions Club. Who do you think are going to be the standout players of today's games? You can also log on to Goal at full time for all the player ratings. Right, guys, let's look at some of the other fixtures today. Big game for Man United, isn't it?
Huge game for Man United, but as much as it's a good time to play Man United, it's also a good time to play Shakhtar Donetsk. The last two transfer windows, they've lost Willian, Fernandinho and Henrik Mkhitaryan, their three best players. They're still in the process of regenerating that team and they're not quite there at the minute, so there could be something on offer there for David Moyes.
There's an argument, Andrew, I guess, that given the domestic issues they're having, relatively speaking, this will be quite a nice distraction for Man United.
You could say that, but European Cup, and every major team wants to win that. You know, it's David Moyes' first game in the European Cup, away game, sorry. No doubt he'll be looking forward to it, but I think if they leave there with a draw, I think they'll be happy with that.
Now, another tantalising tie, Juve versus Galatasaray. The latter about to unveil the new manager.
Yeah, Roberto Mancini is going to manage Galatasaray, probably not in time for the game against Juventus, but certainly going forward, Galatasaray are going to have to improve their early season form domestically and in Europe. Otherwise, they're going to have no chance of qualifying from this group.
You've both gone for wins here. Pete, a narrow one, 1-0. 2-0, you think, Juve. Do you consider them amongst the serious contenders for the title this year?
I do, yeah, because I think the Italian football is getting back on top again. You know, they've had their problems and that, and I think Juventus has been the best team in the past few years in Italy. And looking at them last season and looking at them again this season, they'll be there or thereabouts for sure.
Real Madrid was the team you called at the very start of this series, saying they were going to walk away with the Champions League. You still feel comfortable with that prediction?
Well, they're having a bit of a poor time of it domestically. Obviously, losing the derby at the weekend was unprecedented for them. But I think Carlo Ancelotti will galvanise a squad this good to give them a good deep run in the competition. And they really only have Juventus to contend with in the group stage before they go on to the knockout stage. I think Real will certainly be there or thereabouts.
You've both gone for comfortable wins. Andrew, 3-0. Do you think that's plain sailing into the knockout stages for Real? Can you see any slip-ups coming?
There's always a slip-up around the corner in football. You just never know, especially in this competition. But I do believe they get through the group stage. But I think with Real, it's a case of how far they can go this season, because Real believe this is their trophy. They believe they should win it every season. So we just have to wait and see.
What do you think? How deep a run can they have?
I don't know. At the moment, Real seem to be a quarter-final, semi-final team. I just think all the components don't work at the same time when they really need to get through to the final. So, like I touched on before, whoever can beat a team like Bayern Munich or Barcelona are going to have a great chance to win the competition.
Okay, thanks very much, guys. Be sure to use the hashtag Champions Club to challenge Pete's predictions. Maybe you don't agree with Andrew and you feel that Real Madrid do have the killer punch to go all the way in the competition. Remember, you can catch all the action on the Goal Live Match Centre. Bye for now.